Hello, how are you? I am Shuvendu Chakravarty. Today I am going to take an English class of class 9 on English for today. Our today's lesson will be Unit 5, Lesson 4, and the name of the topic is Putting Our Fish in Hot Water. So, from this lesson, what we will come to know? We will come to know the following things. First, we will know dangers fish population is facing. And second, impact of this on human beings. And third, ways to cope with this problem. So, you students, you take these things in your mind, and after reading the lesson, you will then again ask yourself that whether you have come to know these things. We will check your understanding later. But first, the lesson. In A, you can just find that spend 1 minute thinking about your life as a fish. So this is a very funny thing, that now you are thinking yourself as a fish. And then in pairs talk to another fish about your life as a fish. Perhaps it is not possible right now because you are not at your school, you are staying at your home. But if you have any brother or sister at your home, and if you can do this with him or her, then you can continue doing this. And then in B, you can say that, do you agree with the following statements on fish and fishing? Discuss with your partners. So again, if possible, you can find any partner, that means your own brother or sister, or if not possible, don't bother, just you continue thinking. In A, you will find fish will never disappear. There will always be enough fish to feed the world. What do you think? You are in favor of this, or you want to contradict this idea? Okay, you first think, and then you can write it down if no partner you find to discuss these things. And come to the next point, B. In many ways, people are like fish. Do you agree this? It's a very funny statement. Maybe you agree, or maybe you don't agree. Okay, you continue thinking and you write your thinking. You can write your thinking in some pages, and then come to see the hobby of fishing should be banned to help protect fish population. Okay, again the same thing. Either you can agree or you can contradict. Okay, now come to the lesson. Now we will read the lesson. And then, after reading the lesson, I will check your understanding, that whether you have understood the lesson quite well or not, because some statements will be given there. If they are true, you will say true, and if they are false, then you have to give correct information. But first, let us read the lesson about fish, basically, and climate, their relationship with climate. So, fish population is in serious danger from global warming. So, do you know what is global warming? From previous chapter, we have also known what is greenhouse effect. And greenhouse effect, global warming, they are just very much related. Because global warming, we know that it is the gradual rise in the world's temperature. And we know that the temperature of the world is gradually increasing. And this is happening why? Because of the rise of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, methane, CFC, water vapor, nitrous oxide, these harmful gases are increasing in the world's atmosphere. And these gases are just contributing to the increase of global temperature. And this global temperature is really very much harmful to fish population. Climate change is increasing the water temperature in rivers, lakes, and seas. So you see, students, that the temperature is not only increasing in the atmosphere, it is also increasing in the water level. In the water body like river, lake, seas, water temperature is also rising. And this rise in the water temperature in no way is good for the fish population. This means there is less food and oxygen available for fish. So because of this rise in the temperature, what will happen? Fish will get less food and at the same time less oxygen. So ultimately it will be very much difficult for their survival. It also means the fish may not grow fully. So their full growth may be very much hampered because of this rise in global temperature. And they may have fewer offsprings. Offspring means children. So fishes may have fewer fishes, fewer young fishes will be born. So they will have just a very limited fries. And as a result, fish population will be gradually less in number day by day. Some fishes will become extinct if temperatures rise even by 1 or 2 degrees Celsius. Extinct means no longer in existence. So what may happen because of this temperature rise? Some fish species may be totally just disappear from this world. Okay, they will have no existence anymore in this earth. And if just 1 or 2 degrees Celsius temperature increases, it may happen. So ultimately, it will affect the human beings. Do you think so? Okay, let's read the next paragraph. Climate change increases the pressure on fish population. So definitely it is happening. Because of the climate change, fish population is just facing pressure from many countries. Because from the previous para we have seen that oxygen level is just reducing, their food is reducing, and fish population needs these two things for their survival. So fishes are one of the world's most valuable biological asset. We know asset is wealth or any valuable resource. So fish population is very much valuable for human beings and for our nature as well. 40% of people in the world eat fish as their main source of protein. So in the whole world, 40% of the total population depend on fish population as their protein, as the source of their protein. If we fail to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, we will increase the pressure on fish. So emission means release or discharge. So if we just fail to reduce the release of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, then what might happen? Then it will definitely just increase pressure, tremendous pressure on fish population. As a result, people who depend on fish will suffer from hunger and poverty. So we know that in our world, a large number of people not only just eat fish as the source of their protein, but also many people also just sell fish, and many people catch fish. So many people's livelihood are totally dependent on fish. So what will happen to these people, okay, whose lives are dependent on fish population? So they will suffer from hunger, they will suffer from poverty, and it's a great problem for the entire human race. Now we have just read the lesson, and some statements are here, and we will check that whether we can just understand these statements by saying either true or false. Number 1, global warming will kill all the fishes within 10 years. What do you think? It is a true statement or it's a false statement? Yes, you are right. It is a false statement. And the correct information will be like this. Global warming will reduce the fish population day by day. So fish population will be reduced because of global warming day by day. Gradually they will be reduced, not just within 10 years. Then the second statement is, some fishes cannot reproduce if the water is too warm. Yes, it is true, because in the first para we have seen that fish may just many fishes may just have fewer offsprings. That means they cannot just produce their babies. Okay, and then number 3, a 2 degrees Celsius rise in temperature will make some species extinct. Yes, that is also a true statement. We have seen this. Next, number 4, fishes are valuable economic investments. Yes, of course, they are valuable economic investments, and this is also a true statement. And now come to number 5. Nearly 14% of people depend on fish for their basic food needs. What do you think? It is 14%? No, it's a false statement. The correct statement will be like this. 40% of people in the world eat fish as the main source of protein. And finally come to number 6 statement. It is people will suffer a lot if greater pressure is put on fish. Yes, it's a true statement. So we have checked our understanding by 6 sentences, and now come to D. And here is a role play. Again, I'm telling that it is not possible doing the role play at your home because you are not at your class now, you are staying at your home, but we can read this. We can just know that what is said here. Let's read. Student A is a fish. Student B is a fisherman. First, write a dialogue between the two. Then act it out. Change roles and repeat the role play. So role A, a fish, and role B, a fisherman. So this is very interesting, very funny thing, and if it is possible anyway to do at your home with your brother or sister, you can try. Otherwise, just you can keep it when you will be back to your class, then you can try with your classmate. But now let us proceed to number E, and let's see what is given there. In number E, there is a question. You are a nature lover. Write a letter to the organizers of the National Climate Change Conference in Bangladesh. Tell them about how global warming is changing your environment. Also suggest what they can do to help save fish population. So it's a very, very, very useful thing that if we can really write a letter to such an organizer. So now I will show you a sample letter that how to write this type of letter. Let's see that how to write this type of letter. Okay, it's a sample letter to the organizer of National Climate Change Conference. And first, what you have to do, you have to write your own address in the extreme left of the page. You have to write your own address. And after writing the address, you will keep double space and then you will write the date in this way. And after writing the date, what you will do, you will now write the name of the person whom you are writing the letter. And suppose just we think that the name of the person is Mr. Ali Imam. And at the same time, we have to write his designation. So let's think that his designation is convener. And now you have to write the address below. Okay, so again, we have written your address first, then keeping double space, we have just written the date, and next we have written the name and address with designation of the person to whom we are writing the letter, right? Now what we have to do, now we have to address the person as dear sir. Because anyone, if you think that if you don't know him or her personally, then you can address as dear sir. Okay, so dear sir, Significant changes that have taken place in our environment in recent years have forced me to write you for showing my concerns on the matter. You have started like this way because you know that many environmental changes are happening around you, and you have noticed that, and you have mentioned that just in the very beginning. And then you are saying you must have noticed that due to global warming and rise in the sea levels, the largest mangrove forest in the world, named the Sundarbans, is losing a great amount of its landmass to the sea. You have found that, and you have also read it in newspaper that Sundarbans is just losing its landmass every year. And what is happening to the landmass? Because the landmass is going to the sea, directly going to the sea. The forest is shrinking every year. The forest is getting smaller every year. Why this is happening? This is happening because of climate change. This is happening because of global warming. And Sundarbans is in your country. So when it happens to the Sundarbans, which is the largest mangrove forest in the world, then it's surely a matter of concern. Then you also see that the unique forest is increasingly becoming smaller. Many people living in the coastal areas are becoming homeless and helpless too. So the people who are living near the banks of the sea, near the coast of the sea, they are becoming homeless, shelterless, and at the same time they are becoming helpless. You know this, and you have mentioned this. Different types of untimely and unexpected natural disasters are occurring in our country every now and then. And you have also noticed that very devastating cyclones like previously we have noticed Cedar. Okay, so this type of super cyclones are happening nowadays. Many types of untimely natural disasters are happening nowadays. Most alarmingly, there is a significant reduction in fish population in recent years. You have also noticed that fish population is decreasing in number. Okay, you have got the news from many sources. In this situation, if we cannot prepare ourselves well to cope with the effects of climate change, people of our country soon will be in great trouble. So, you know that if just we do not take appropriate measures right now, then it will be very difficult for a country like Bangladesh to face the challenges of climate change. And that's why you are so much concerned about that. And that's why you are writing this letter. Okay? Then again, a great number of people who are dependent on fish resources for their livelihood will be jobless. Besides, many people will suffer from the scarcity of protein if there are not sufficient fishes in our water bodies. So you know that what may happen if fish population is just decreasing in this rate, then many people will suffer from hunger, many people will suffer from poverty. And the next para you were saying, so I hope you will discuss the issue with utmost importance in the upcoming conference and take some concrete decisions to save our fish resources and combat the effects of climate change. Thankfully yours, you will write your name. Here one name has been used, like Rai Purnota. So from today's lesson, what we have learned why fish population is decreasing. At the same time, what will be its impact on us, and at the same time, how to write an official letter. We have also learned that. And I will give you one homework, that suppose now you are Mr. Ali Imam, the convener of the National Climate Change Conference. And your task will be to write a letter back to Rai Purnota. In response of our letter, you will write a letter back to Rai Purnota. Okay? And whenever your school will be open, you will show this letter to your English teacher. Okay? So, save our planet's environment, and thank you very much.